Good morning, everyone. Hello, how are you all doing this morning? Hope you're all doing well. Welcome to Good Morning with Reganelite. It is Monday, April the 14th, 2025, 8 a.m. UK time here. How are you all doing? Hope you're all doing well. Hope you had a very nice weekend. And if you haven't already, do check out the community post that dropped this morning. Give you guys an update on some of the plans that are happening this week. I gotta say, actually, obviously, you guys know I've been battling this cough for quite a while, and actually, yesterday was the first time where I really I've got a sweetener if I really need it and everything I need. I've got my honey and lemon here. It's not cold this time, which compared to last time. Yesterday was the first time where I really didn't really cough much at all. I just noticed I actually haven't got any tissue, so if I do start coughing, it's not a very good thing, guys. Not a very good thing at all. Good morning, Billy Kershaw. Hope you're doing well. Hope you had a very good weekend, my friend. So, what is today's quote of the day, guys, this morning? Well, today is the 14th of April. So, let's have a look at what today's quote is for those who haven't seen it across my socials. So, this one is, take time to do what makes your soul happy. That is, take time to do what makes your soul happy. That is today's daily quota for Monday, the 14th of April. Weather here where I am, it is 8 degrees here. At the moment, it is sunny at the moment, but apparently it could be a bit cloudy a bit later on throughout the day here. Temperatures rise according to the weather app about 13, 14 degrees, so not too warm, and it has been mainly still a bit chilly, despite the fact that the weather has is a lot better. Having said that, though, yesterday we did have some showers yesterday afternoon here, so the weather has been while it has been mainly sunshine, they've had a bit of showers as well. Obviously there's a lot to talk about, but I just want to talk a little bit about, so as you guys know, last time when I talked with you guys, obviously I talked about devastation of how much it costs to get a new phone, which was really devastating. As you guys know, it was a right pain, and obviously I appreciate those who sent some super chats my way to help amend the cost a little bit, which is greatly appreciated. Obviously, it won't make up for the £215, but it's still better than nothing. It is still better than nothing. So I appreciate any to help make up those numbers there. Well, I don't know how I got the reference there. So obviously, like I said, I've been a bit really hurting financially, but my missus decided to get me got me a little something I wanted to share with you guys, actually, before we go into bits here. So she knows I'm a big Lord of the Rings fan, and she came home on on Saturday. She went out and she got me this, guys. I don't know if you guys can see this or not, but it is a map of Middle Earth. Yes, map of Middle Earth there. I don't know if you can see there. Which is pretty darn cool. So obviously for those, I'm going to talk a little bit about Middle Earth, because Lord of the Rings, because I've been an advocate fan of it. It's really, really cool. Apparently she bought the whole thing, like this and the frame together, which is very nice. Already got a nice place here in this room for it to hang up, which is pretty cool. So that was a nice little thing to make up for it. So actually, when I was younger, my dad had these cassette tapes of like the really, really old Lord of the Rings, like the cassette tapes, the voiceover ones there, like that was proper old school, before the film. I remember, I don't have too much memory of the time, but it was the first time I came to know, I've heard of Lord of the Rings. The first time, and I was still quite young, so I hadn't really clocked in Lord of the Rings too much, I think, at that time. But my dad really has always been a fan of Lord of the Rings. I never read the books because I'm not too much of a book reader myself. And obviously when the film came out, it was like the first time where I really like had to like, because it's kind of interesting when you listen to it just resonates with me when I was listening to it on the tapes when I was younger, and then going from listening to Lord of the Rings on cassette tapes, then you had the books, of course, which I think I was offered the chance to read books, but I've never been an advocate reader at all. I will tell you about a book one day. I'll talk maybe on one of the shows this week. I'll talk to you guys about one of the books that I have read and why it touched me so much. Oh, you got the tape box set, Billy Kershaw. That's awesome. That's really, really cool. Yeah, that's so Michael Horden. Yes, it was. Yeah, the thing is, like, I suppose, like, maybe if I did audio, I probably would be more key into listening listening to the books, the audio version. Like, I think if somebody was audioing it to me, I'd probably be more intertwined to listening to it rather than reading. I'm just not an advocate book reader. I've tried. There were some other books I've tried, and it's just like it's very hard for me. Like, I've actually got one. I've got a book from. I've actually got a political book that I've been trying to read, and I really struggled to read it. I really struggled to read it, me personally. They're just talking about my fascination for Lord of the Rings. So obviously, I became a big Lord of the Rings fan when the film came out. The very first one came out. I remember watching it with my dad, and it was mind blowing. It was absolutely mind blowing. And obviously, when the other two films came out, obviously we went to watch them watched them in the cinema as well. And it was really, really great. I loved it. I loved the fantasy. I loved the whole dwarves, elves, and kingdom, and then these dark lords, Sauron, and the story was just, and it was very close. It wasn't completely close to the book, but it's close enough to the book from some of the aspects of it. And then obviously they did the Hobbit series, which I think the Hobbit series was still very good. I really enjoyed the Hobbit series, the Hobbit films. I thought they were pretty cool as well. Now then came the Amazon Prime series. Now, I gotta be honest, guys, I have not watched any of it because, quite frankly, I don't have Amazon Prime, and I don't really willing to pay for it. If I'm honest, I mean, I have been tempted, but because I am a big Lord of the Rings fan, but I have heard there's some constructive criticism towards the franchise of it, but I would like to at some point still see it. This is a true story, actually. So me and my because obviously my dad's been a big advocate for Lord of the Rings. So one time, me and a bunch of family got this idea of watching all three of the original films with him. And what we did was is that we basically did a little set up a living room full of basically trying to make it woodish Elvis sort of thing. And everyone would have to play dress up for it as well. So my dad had to dress up as Gandalf. I dressed up as Legolas. One of my brothers dresses up as Frodo, and I think it was Aragorn was one of the other ones. One or two other characters, and there were a couple of other dress-ups as well. And basically, we dressed up as these characters, and then we would watch, basically 9+ hours of Lord of the Rings all day. We did it all day, so that was that was pretty much quite a long day, but I enjoyed it, and that's probably why both me and my dad want to go to New Zealand so much, because as you guys know, that's where New Zealand is where the Lord of the Rings was actually done there. The mountains is just absolutely stunning. The sets, it's just absolutely a gorgeous country, New Zealand. Which is why something that my dad is getting older, as does everything, and he does want to make that trip. To go to New Zealand, at least do it once to say he's been there, he's seen it all. And same for me, I don't know. Like, New Zealand has been the dream holiday for me, simply based off. Not just because of what a beautiful country, its people, and whatnot, but because of my love and affiliation to Lord of the Rings, and to be able to go there and see see it for what it is would definitely be a dream. And yes, it is a very expensive dream as well, because it's obviously on the other side of the world from here in the UK. But it's definitely something that I would love to do. So there we go. That's the non-political stuff there for those who are popping in now. So let's talk about some of the things that have been happening, guys, over the last couple of days. So obviously the main topic in the UK has been the British Steel crisis. So of course, very interesting. Parliament was recalled. I'm trying to save my voice a little bit here. So British Steel is to deploy emergency measures to save the Scunthorpe furnaces. So they recalled Parliament, which was very interesting, and they had a sit down. They passed a bill with emergency powers. They did on Saturday in a desperate attempt to try and save British Steel. Now, it's still not guaranteed to be saved, because it says here, obviously, British Steel is to deploy emergency measures in a race against time to save the blast furnaces at Scunthorpe. And as the business secretary refused to guarantee the plant could get what he needed in time, the company is understood to be looking at offers to help from more than a dozen businesses to maintain materials such as iron ore and coking coal, potentially allowing it to avoid the temporary shutdown of one of the two furnaces. This is really deeply concerning indeed. Good morning, Catherall. I hope you are doing well. Thank you for being here. And good evening, Steve McMahon. I hope you are doing well over there. Good morning, Mithril. Good to see you guys all. Hope you're all doing well. So yes, the Chinese owner Jing Yang, they declined government support to help keep the plant running. I think it's a pretty safe bet to say that, you know, they did not care about British Steel. At the end of the day, for them, it was about making money, and this was a loss-making business for them. Geordie Beastie, good to see you there. Hope you are doing well. Good morning to anybody else who may be lurking, popping in as well. You missed my wonderful story. I was talking about Lord of the Rings for a good 10 minutes there, guys. Oh, hopefully you guys will catch the next morning, bro. Good morning tomorrow with me. I'll talk about another interesting story with you guys there. But in terms of British Steel, I do feel that, you know, this should have been done ages ago. And while, of course, like, I'm glad that they're taking emergency measures, they're taking taking action that they need to take to try and save the industry. A part of me is also furious that they should have seen this coming, and they should have taken action sooner, and they should have realised that the Chinese company does not care about British Steel. They don't give a damn about British Steel, and that it should, like many industries, should have been nationalised. And the very thought of British Steel being turned off would be detrimental to the British economy. It's going to be hugely detrimental to the British economy if those turn off. And it also, as many of my friends up in Scotland have pointed out, it spits in the face of the Scottish people with what's happening with Grangemouth at the moment, when the situation there is very much up in the air. Good morning, Matt Parker. Hope you are doing well. Labour should have renationalised British Steel as soon as they came in. Absolutely, 100%. They should have done that. And you know, it's for me. Of course, I want to make sure we try and protect as many jobs as they possibly can, because I really do want the jobs protected. But then also at the same time, you know, British Steel really does matter. There's so many things that we rely on. It really is. It's not just another in the British industry. It saves us money. It relies on us not having to export steel from outside, and we don't want to rely on exports. You know, this whole, you know, and especially if you're somebody who's very nationalized, very, you know, this nationalized part of, like, very want to be British only and all this kind of prospect, you would be screaming at the top of your lungs wanting to nationalise British Steel. And we know that Reform are just taking advantage of the situation. That's why they're calling for nationalising British Steel. But it goes with the logic of what people want there when it comes to it. It is not over. It is not over whatsoever, guys. It's not done and dusted. There's still a race against time, because they're still trying to get materials as we speak on the matter. So we can only hope over the next week that they get what they need, and hopefully British Steel can be maintained in the long term. I really hope so, guys. Thank you, Steve McMahon, for the $2 New Zealand dollars. Does New Zealand dollars? Appreciate it, my friend. No, what we need is to buy all our own stuff back, says Sean Wall. Good morning, Sean. I hope you are doing well. Yes, that would be the obvious solution. You know, water, energy, to those two other things that should be in our control. The fact that, yeah, the water one is the worst one out of the, I think out of all the industries, the water is the worst one of them all. But they don't really want to touch that there. Is it possible that the Chinese company was sabotaging could have potentially sabotaging the government and the plant for more money? Yes, I do think that's potentially a possibility. The government will deny that, but it's very much possible, you guys. And we are 4 super chats away from hitting the target. Guys, any super chats goes towards the Pingu's fund for the campaign, the war chest campaign against Donald Trump's tariffs. You know, he actually goes to supporting McDonald's Island and the Penguins and their fight against the tariffs. So any super chats goes towards the funds for Pingu. So if you guys can support Pingu in any way, shape or form, please do. And I have a video tonight, a very good rally call video. Some of you guys may have seen the video already, but I'm going to show you guys tonight on the Viewpoint, the rally video of the Penguins marching, ready, preparing for war against the Trump administration. Honey and lemon. I really still don't like honey and lemon, but you know, it does help with the voice. It does help with the voice there. So some of the other stories, guys. Let's have a look at some of the other stories as well. Arrest warrant has been issued for UK MP in Bangladesh, Taneep Siddique. Let me just have a quick look at this one, just to refresh my memory. I was looking at this one. Very interesting situation there. Where is it? There we go. Arrest warrant issued for Bangladesh UK MP Talib Siddique. If I mispronounced the name, I apologise. The former city minister is accused of illegally receiving a plot of land from her aunt, the ousted MP Sheikh Hasina. Arrest warrant issued for her. Bangladesh media reported the warrant was issued by a judge for 53 people connected to Hasina, including Sadiq. There is no formal extradition treaty between the UK and Bangladesh. So it's Sadiq's representative said there was no basis at all for any charges to be made against her, and there is absolutely no truth in any allegations she received a plot of land from Dagger through illegal means. The MP for Hampshire and Highgate has denied allegations of corruption linked to her aunt's collapse regime and accused the Bangladeshi authorities of targeting a baseless campaign against her. Sadiq resigned in January as Economic Secretary to Treasury, citing the risk of becoming a distraction and saying the government was being harmed by the furlough over her use of properties given to herself and her family by allies of the regime of Hasina. Now, I'm pretty sure I've seen some other stories related to it. Good morning, Gene Bottle. Good to see you there. Hope you're doing well. I'm sure I've seen other stories. I'm sure we talked about those stories already, but the fact that an arrest warrant has been issued against a British MP in Bangladesh, from Bangladesh, really does speak quite huge volumes there about the seriousness of this. The message I always have is that, well, if you've got nothing to hide, if you are completely innocent, then why don't you face the music on it? Now, I don't know if the trials or the case would be fair in Bangladesh. I can't speak for the judicial system. You would think that if she travelled over there and faced the charges, she would and she is innocent, she would be fine. But I don't know if there's a possibility of her going there and being found guilty. Like, is there a possibility that she could go there and be found guilty of this? I do think that she needs to address this issue. But I've been fine and warm here in New Zealand, but supposed to be rain overnight. I gave the weather report this bit earlier today. We have decent sunshine at the moment, but a bit cloudy a bit later on. Good morning, Aztekir. Hope you are doing well. Hope you had a good weekend as well. Tulip is very dodgy, pronounced like the flower. Yeah. He definitely was very dodgy. I think a couple of years ago, one or two media outlets approached her, if I recall, and she dodged a lot of questions at the time about it as well. So there's definitely something dodgy there. But Sorry, 1 second. I just want to clear my throat, guys. 1 second. Ugh. God, I hate mucus. It's terrible, terrible, terrible. But yeah, you are right. There is definitely something fishy there. Because if she was innocent, she would go and clear her name. So it'd be interesting to see if what's going to happen there. I'm assuming what's going to happen is she's just not going to return home, and it's just going to be, well, I'm just not going back home ever again. I'm just going to stay in the UK. I'm assuming that's what's going to be happening on that story, guys. Speaking of MPs, barred, you had an arrest warrant there. Lib Dem MP barred from entering Hong Kong because of criticising Beijing on human rights as well. So you had a Lib Dem MP. Where is the story? Oh my God! So there was a. Was it in? Where is this? So there was a story about a Lib Dem. There we go. So Weeba Hobhouse flew to Hong Kong with her husband on Thursday to visit her son and newborn grandson. However, she was detained at the airport, questioned and deported. So the MP for Bath, one of more than 40 parliamentarians at the Interparliamentary Alliance on China, which criticises Beijing's handling of human rights, said she was given no reason for being refused entry. So we are starting to see this now. So you're starting to see. We know in America, obviously, if you are critical of Trump and you have a lot of social media connected to it, there's a good chance that ICE can confiscate your phone, look at your phone, and get more information on you. But now, and they could detain you if they consider you a threat to Donald Trump and the Trump administration because of how your feelings are towards Donald Trump. Excuse me. So there's been that story going around as well. But this is a very specific MP, part of a very specific group, criticising China and Beijing and their handling on human rights. And we know that China does not have a very good human rights record. But we know that obviously this is getting to that point where Hong Kong will soon cease to be existing and will soon cease to exist and become part of China. It will no longer be a country. I don't even call it a country at this point because of the direction that it's going. I still think that I still look back at that deal that we signed with Beijing and Hong Kong over it, and I just think it was the worst possible deal we did, because we literally signed Hong Kong's death warrant by doing so. Thank you, Stephen McMahon, for the super chat. Thank you again. Much appreciated it. Oh no, you've done 2. Oh my God, I didn't notice you did. You've done 3. Oh, that's so kind of you. Thank you. Thank you. Those funds, like I said, guys, any super chats funds goes towards the against the Pingu and the Penguin Army against the Trump administration. You know, the whole tariff war there, guys. So if anyone wants to support Pingu and what's happening there, you're more than welcome to do so. Good morning, Mad Monk. Hope you are doing well, my friend. Good to see you there. And Leafskin, good to see you there as well. Good morning, Witchy Goth as well. Anybody else lurking in the chats, feel free to come and say hello. Hope you guys are all doing well. Yeah, so she basically flew there, got detained, questioned, and then got kicked off, basically. Even though she's an MP, doesn't really matter. If you criticise this government, you know you'll face consequences. I don't know how. I don't know if I've been as critical, me personally, on China as others, but I'm still very hesitant to go to China. I would love to go to China. One of the things I would love to visit is the Great Wall, but I'm extremely paranoid because of things that I've said about China in the past, that the Chinese government could look up on me, and basically deport me. So. Regan, do you think they'll go after streamers in the US such as Vorsh, Hassan, and the others? That has been a conversation. Brian Tyler Cohen, and I'm sure you've heard of him. I don't know, is my honest answer at the moment. It's possible. It's very possible. It's very, very possible. I hope not. I really hope not, because it just undermines the whole freedom of speech thing. But then again, they've already been undermining it anyway. But they can easily just cook up the stories on these people eventually. I mean, they're more like I mean, how long before they go after Mark Elias from Democracy Watch? You know, what him and his team have been doing against the Trump administration have been a right pain in the arse. So, yeah, I'm very worried about US streamers in particular. You know, I don't know if it will go that far though. I don't know if it will go that far. We'll have to wait and see over time. Ahoy, Cultaholic. Hope you're doing well there as well. But yeah, she said it was to shut me up. Well, it's not really going to stop her shutting up there, if I'm honest, guys. We have entered the other stories as well, guys. We'll come to the news in a bit. The Birmingham BIM strikes enters its 6th week. Guys, we have gone 6 weeks now in the Birmingham BIM strikes. What's changed? Nothing has changed. Rubbish continues to pile up in one of the second largest cities in the UK. Sorry, second largest city in England, I'll say specifically. Obviously, there have been help from other counties to try and help support them. And there have been people taking matters in their own hands to try and clear some of the rubbish. But there are obviously, like I said, there are those who cannot clear it themselves or refuse to clear it themselves because guess what? It should not be their job to do so. So 6 weeks now that rubbish has been piling up in Birmingham. I've actually seen it appear on some world news as well. So outside the UK. That's how much attention it's getting. So it's causing a bit of a stinker for the UK government. My understanding is there's going to be a vote from the unions this week on a deal that's been put to them. On whether or not they will take the deal or not is a question. Because one of the things that's been frustrating for them in particular has been their pay has been reduced and been going down for a long period over the last pretty much all under austerity. It's been very, very frustrating for them, you know, the cutting back of council tax. And I've spoken about this before already, guys, and I'm sure you guys have heard me say this already, that the Birmingham Run Council has been ran poorly. Yes, austerity's played a part. Yes, the Conservative government has made things life difficult for them, but they've still not been able to manage their budgets. You still got to learn to manage your budgets, and it's just been managed poorly. You can't, like, yes, austerity, Brexit does play a part. Yes, of course, absolutely, yeah, but not all councils have gone bankrupt because of austerity and Brexit. Some have been able to manage. So, and yes, it is a big budget for Birmingham, but they still got to be able to do the maths and look after things. Yes, they have to make they made cutbacks, but they put themselves in this situation. And the government should be stepping in to deal with this situation. They really should be to deal with this situation. Steve, thank you so much again. That's very nice of you. Being very generous today, giving $8 to go towards the funds for the Penguins war against Donald Trump's tariffs. Really appreciate it. Like I said, we'll find out. You'll see tonight you'll see the video if you haven't seen it already on my post that I posted on the channel. How they march. The Penguins are marching to war against Trump's tariffs. So, yeah. Will it end this week is the good question, guys. Will these bench strikes end this week, and will we finally start seeing a clean-up? I really hope so, but I also hope that the workers get the pay in terms and conditions that they deserve. Because they've been basically put undermined for a long, long time. They really, really have. So we'll have to wait and see on that. It's an exclusive from The Guardian. Well, I'll show you guys a bit in a bit. 55.5 million of the world's poorest people without access to basic resources, independent exclusives. Yeah, an independent exclusive. 55 million people. That's the UK's aid cut. So because of the cuts to the UK aid budget, 55 million people will be without access to basic resources as a result of the cut into foreign aid. But don't worry, guys. We're going to have more tanks. We're going to have more aircrafts. We're going to have, more weapons, for ourselves. But it's okay. 55 million people around the world are going to be much poorer because we're cutting foreign aid. But don't worry, guys. We're building more tanks. We're building more weapons. We're building, more armies, more stuff like that. The only thing is, obviously, we don't have, our army are actually shrinking. It's like 55,000. But don't worry, guys. We're going to build like massive drone factories and whatnot to protect ourselves. 55 million people. Like, I know it's not in the billions, but still, 55 million people are going to be worse off as a direct result. Now, I'm going to lose my train of thought here. Funds for the Penguins. Yes, funds for the Penguins. Thank you so much, Alistair Keir, for the £10, £10 super chat. Thank you, Stephen Moore and Alistair Keir. The money will go towards the march. Will go towards the Penguins. So Pingu actually would like to. We'll say We'll see Pingu in the Justice shortly in a bit. Thank you, Alistair Keir, for the 5 gifted memberships there. Giving 5 gifted memberships to Stu Viking President, Billy Kershaw, Leapskin, Billy Kershaw, Ben Shaw, and Jane Cofford have all been gifting memberships by Alistair Keir there. Thank you so much, my friend. I really appreciate your support. Very generous you guys have been to this morning. Really, really appreciate it. But yes, I really appreciate your support, guys. Yeah, we'll see Pingu before we wrap up, before 9. Don't worry. He's still doing work behind me on plans and whatnot. But yeah, don't worry, guys. We're going to have more tanks. We're going to have more rockets. We're going to have more drones. We're going to build more weapons factories. And obviously, of course, some of that will get shipped to Israel, which they shouldn't do, but we're going to get shipped to Israel in one way or another, or they're going to go via third party to America and then go into Israel because, we have to be complicit in what Israel are doing in Gaza, because that's what this government won't call out in any way, shape or form. That their life support is literally being cut off as we speak in Gaza, or it's almost about to run out. But don't worry, guys, we're now going to be more safer than ever because we're increasing defense spending, because that's more important than helping people around the world. It's just wrong. It's wrong. It's just wrong on so many levels, guys. We should be helping people, not abandoning them. And that's what we're doing. That's what appears what we are doing with regards to foreign aid. And I'm sure you'll agree with me, it's pretty disgusting. Right, let's have a look at some of the news that's been taking place today, guys. Let's have a start with The Guardian here. I should just point out as well, as we go through these, guys, as you guys may have noticed, I'm going to be trying to do 5 Good Morning shows this week. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Tomorrow, we'll actually be looking at world news instead of the UK media. So we'll have a look from maybe Al Jazeera, CNN, or maybe even the Kiev Independent, just a couple of different outlets. So we'll find some stories to look at from the world's perspective, what the world media is talking about. May not be specifically on UK. So if you guys want to have a look and see what the world's media, and no, it's not just going to be about Donald Trump and these tariffs and whatever he's saying. No. We'll see what media are saying outside the UK, because again, like I said, this channel's also about learning together on this there. So let's have a look. What's the UK latest news here? As we said, British Steel to deploy emergency measures to save Scunthorpe furnaces. Minister scramble to say Scunthorpe Steel Works running. So that's ongoing, obviously. After, like I said, we'll see how that goes. Excuse me. Minister's trying to encourage Windrush compensation claim with £1.5 million fund. Stress taking immense toll on teachers in England as unions debate industrial action. Oh. Research from the NEU suggests only 1.5% of school staff unaffected by stress at work. Stress has taken immense toll on the lives of teachers in England, with only 1.5% of those working in schools unaffected by the high levels of strain that plagues their colleges. The findings from the Research International Education Union reveals that 1 in 3 state school teachers in England are stressed at work for at least 4/5 of the time, while only a tiny fraction said they are never overstretched. The research is published as NEU members gather in Haringey this week for the union's annual conference and are expected to debate taking industrial action over pay and working conditions. That is not good at all. If they're not getting good enough pay, it's very, very concerning indeed. Alistair Keir is very generous, isn't he, guys? Yeah, very absolute top man. 14,000 teachers surveyed there. Yeah, it's so stressful. Like this is one of the reasons why although my partner, this is why she won't go into public, why she won't go into a public school for the work that she does, because of the stress and strain of public work. Like it's just like it's not worth it. Like teachers are being asked to do more for less. It's just outrageous. This is the narrative we are going more and more down. I really do feel for teachers. Like in all seriousness, if they need to take action, they need to take action on that. Mad133 says less safe Scunthorpe, but Grangemouth and Port Talbot can go whistle as they are not English. Exactly, Mad133. We actually pointed out Grangemouth earlier when we were talking about it. You're absolutely right. You know, nobody's talking about these situations here. Yeah. Austerity caused a lot of folk to get stressed and depressed. Yep. Austerity led a lot to mental health issues. COVID obviously did play its part in that. We have to point out COVID played its part in that as well. Still, lots of people are still suffering to this day from long COVID, which people don't talk about. COVID is still here. It's just not. It's just COVID is still here. People forget COVID is still around. It's just not fatal like it used to be. No worries, Georgie. Thanks for popping in. Much appreciated. Class action says Scunthorpe. What about Port Talbot and Grangemouth? England first, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah, as I said, we just mentioned there. Yeah, good to see a class action. Hope you're doing well. Yeah. And Stephen Flynn pointed it out on Saturday. Pointed it out on Saturday when he spoke as well. Rightfully so. Where's them? You know, Plaid Cymru as well. Furious as well. You know, so absolutely. Like, it's... Yeah. Very frustrating. UK wants explanation for after MP refused entry to Hong Kong. Trafficking victims reject a UK government support for fear they are being deported. This is very, very concerning. I didn't cover this actually because I did just put this on my notes. So yeah, this is very worrying. Nearly 6,000 victims of modern slavery chose not to be referred to help last year, new data shows. And this is very problematic because obviously you have people who are in modern slavery who can get out of modern slavery. But if they get out of it, there's a possibility they can find themselves being deported because obviously they're not supposed to be here in the UK because they're here illegally. So they're stuck. So they rather be in modern slavery and not be sent back to where they come from because they fear of being deported. But 66,000 according to new data, and that's only what they know. By the way, you know, there's a lot that you don't know about, so that number could actually be much higher there, guys. There were more than 19,000 NRM referrals last year. Number of people referred to as victims to the NRM but refused to give initial stages has shot up 219% in 2 years. From 12% in 2022 to 47% in 2024, according to research from the Organisation of After Exploitation. Separate research from that group found that only 113 of 51,000 modern slavery cases reported to the Home Office between January 2021 and May 2024 that's applied for compensation as victims. Like, what do you do to get out of this situation? Like, the only solution that I can see for the government to get to help deal with this situation, which will unfortunately piss off the far right and the nationals, is by basically offering amnesty to these people if they come clean, if they get help, like give them a chance to stay, give them the opportunity to stay in the UK. But that's going to infuriate the likes of Reform and whatnot because they're saying, oh well, you're allowing these people to stay even though they haven't had due process. Well, what? We just leave them in modern slavery then? Is that what we're going to do? A lot of children, sadly, lack a basic understanding of how to behave in public. Oh, Matt, you are so right. I ranted about this a while ago about rubbish on the floor. Like, kids just don't put rubbish in the bins. Like, there's this, like, literally, I've said this, I mentioned this a quick story. So, literally just a minute away from where I live, there's this beautiful woodland walk that's in between the residentials. All these lush trees right around it. This lovely path that goes down towards the town centre here. And there's bins there. But people still dump around it. Like dump in the nature and whatnot. And it's just like, put it in the bin. Like, why can't you put it in the bin? Like, and it's not like the bins are overflowing either. The bins aren't overflowing. It's just they choose not to throw rubbish away. That's just, yeah, I've ranted about it before anyway. So, no worries, Cultaholic. Have a good night. Thanks for popping in, much appreciated. So yes, that's all from the Guardian there, guys. Let's have a look and see what Sky News has been saying. And not too much change from Sky News here. They've got claims of two-tier policing in summer rights, disgraceful and baseless report fines. This language of two-tier policing was started by people on the right, and now they're making it a norm. They're trying to normalize it. I hate it. I hate that they're normalizing the whole two-tier thing. As we talked about, the Bangladesh issued an arrest warrants for Tulip Siddiq. Minister said he wouldn't bring China into sensitive steel industry again. I should hope not, especially after what happened. But that doesn't mean that he wouldn't bring another privatised company into the hands of British Steel. No evidence of two-tier policing in handling the Southport rights, MPs say. There. Let's just have a look at the front page, UK. There. Masters wins, not interested in that. My world fell apart, rising suicide attempts linked to HMRC tax crackdown. HMRC has been accused of harassing ordinary people who were victims of mis-selling when they signed up to loan charge schemes that government has declared as tax avoidance. And now MPs and campaigners have branded the independent review as a cover-up. 4 more people have attempted to take their own life in relation to the loan charge scandal, which has left tens of thousands of contractors facing huge bills for tax in their employers should have paid, Sky News has learned. "17 referrals to police watchdog over the suicide attempts of 14 people, up from 13 referrals of 10 people previously known in October 2023. See, like, I'm all for the HMRC cracking down on tax dodgers, but we know where the real tax dodgers are, and it's the wealthiest in society. But they're going after the wrong people. Don't get me wrong. There are some that have been mis-sold, and there are some tax dodgers who are not wealthy, but they're targeting the wrong. They're going after the wrong people. My heart goes out. My heart really does go out to this and anybody else in that situation. Military planners called in to help with the Birmingham bin crisis. Are you serious? You're going to get the goddamn military to deal with it? How embarrassing. I hope that's not true. Absolutely embarrassing. Not much there from Sky News on the UK scene. Let's have a quick nose at the BBC, you guys. See what they're saying there. Dog poop does my head in. Run in the woods and so many people don't pick it up, or even worse, put it in a bag and then leave the bag. Yeah, Witchy Goth, 100% agree. That's another gripe that I have whenever I go for my walks, especially in the. Luckily, most people when they go for. Luckily, when I do my walk in the main park, which is a huge park. I mean, it's literally like a forest at times. It's cleaned up by the people who go for their dogs' walks there. But outside that, most people don't. There's a lot of in residential areas, like some people just don't bother cleaning it up and they just leave it. So I totally understand the frustration with that one. It's so annoying. There. So that's what the BBC are reporting to here in politics. Some police forces unprepared for the summer riots. MPs fined. Well, it was kind of thrown upon them. But we also know that the police, like many other industries, have been underfunded by the Conservatives. MP Barr from Hong Kong, we talked about already. Bangladesh issued arrest warrants for British MP, we talked about already. And the British Steel, we've already talked about there. What's this story? Rail Minister admits using phone while driving a vintage bus. What? Why are you using the phone while driving a bus? The Rail Minister has admitted using his mobile phone while driving a vintage double-decker bus through London at rush hour. Lord Peter Henley was behind the wheel at the Old Roadmaster for a charity event when he was spotted texting a friend, as first reported by the Sunday Times. Last month, Peter Henry used his phone while driving. He has apologised for the full error of his judgment and has contacted the police. Source told the Lord Henry that he would accept the sanctions, which is likely to be 6 points on his driving licence and a fine. Like, you've got to remember, you've got to remember that just because the camera is not on you, just because you're not doing your work, whatever it might be, like, you're going to get told. Yeah, I'm keeping an eye on the time, Leechkin. Thanks for reminding me. Stupid man. A stupid man is what he is. Let's see what else here. EU chief surprised at fish status in Brexit talks. Grain mouth closure not comparable to British Steel, MPs told. Tell that to the Scottish workers up there. You tell that to the Scottish workers up there. MPs sorry for not declaring donations when praising firm. Michael Gove gets a peerage in Sunak's resignations honours list. Yeah, that's I think the list is out now. Have they got the list here? Can you give me the list? You haven't given me the list. I'm not reading the whole thing. Kind of just wanted a short list of who's gotten peerages. So it looks like Gove and Jeremy Hunt has gotten something, which is very, very infuriating. I remember the firefighters going on strike and the army having to put out fires, including our next door neighbours. It's embarrassing. Wealthy areas in Birmingham are still clean, but poorer areas are filthy, says Ginny Bowl. Well, the wealthy can, if they need to, they can pay other people to clear it up. If the local authorities aren't going to do it, they can afford to it because they've got money sitting on the side, whereas others do not. So it's okay so they can afford to, but not everyone can they? Excuse me. Let's have a look what the iPaper's got here, guys. Got an exclusive. The Home Office versus 4 asylum seekers. How taxpayers spent £350,000 on legal fees. What? 4 asylum seekers have taken the government to court. The costs are set to rise further. Oh my God. £350,000. Home Office spent more than £350,000 defending the use of RFF Wellspoon as asylum seeker accommodation in court, the Eye can reveal. The department is currently embroiled in a legal challenge in the High Court over the use of the site, brought by 4 asylum seekers who have been housed there. The asylum seekers claim the conditions at RAF Wethersfield were unlawful on 6 grounds, including that the Home Office failed to provide dignified living standards, set discriminating conditions, did not adequately screen asylum seekers to determine vulnerability before transferring them to the site, according to the lawyers. This crap here, this is all under the Conservatives. This was all under the Conservatives, this is. Data released by the Freedom of Information Law shows the Home Office had spent legal cost with the case, which was heard in the courts between the 23rd and 26th of July and as August the 6th. However, the cost may still increase on the verdict has not been returned, with the Home Office saying legal proceedings are ongoing. Refugee organisations said the costs were indefensible and called for the site to be closed. I'm pretty sure I've covered many stories relating to this place being a hellhole. Many of the accommodations that refugees and asylum seekers were in were hellholes under the Conservatives. You know, put them in really inhumane conditions. Remember the story? There was a story about a pregnant woman that was that had to have their baby in one of these conditions as well. I think I covered as well. But my God, £350,000 on legal fees. Legal fees. It's just absolutely insane, guys. Farage speaks my language. I'm not listening to you. Brexit forced my farm to stop rearing sheep after 200 years. It's lost us thousands. Brexit, the gift that keeps on giving. Britain soaks up the sun on the weekend. Home Office visa failings delay trip to see my critically ill mother in India. That's terrible. Gay asylum seeker blasts inhumane Rwanda trip after 5,000-mile trip to Calais. After 2,000 migrants waiting in French camps to attempt the channel crossing. 2,000 waiting, apparently. My son drowned in the channel, tried to get to the UK. Help came hours too late. That's terrible. Let's have a look at politics specific. New plan to save the UK car industry is to be in The government's industrial strategy, exclusive with them. They said with the US accounting for UK automotive exports worth 7.6 billion, Starmer will also add domestically to protect the industry, according to them. Excuse me. Chinese firms may be blocked from critical UK sites in the future after sabotage warnings. Considering what's happened with British Steel, I don't blame that at all. Why Tory reform pack is no longer taboo among Conservative MPs. Never rule it out. Never rule that out. John Farrell has saved the day in Scunthorpe. What's next will define him. He hasn't saved. It's not over yet. That's an opinion piece. It's not over yet. Private SEND schools have profits reduced, Phillipson's warned. Private schools quiet wolf over VAT. Education Secretary says, yeah, they are crying wolf. Well, suck it up. You guys get. I'm sorry. Like I know how important private education is to some people, but I'd like the state education to get fixed as well. And I'm really not crying whatsoever, in any way, shape, or form over what's happening with the with it. Right, got about 8 minutes left, so let's run through some of the. I've got a couple more news to go through before we wrap up in here. Oh God, get rid of this silly advert. God damn it, Independent. This is from the Independent. Race to save British Steel factory after Chinese firm sabotage. Yeah, they put the commas there. You see, they had to put the commas there. Sadiq denies wrongdoing from Bangladesh. Talked about already. Hungarian opposition leader tells supporters he will restore Western allies if he defeats Orban. I don't. How is that UK politics? Question mark. Savage UK cuts will deprive 55 million of aid around the world, which is what I said already. This is an exclusive from the Independent there. Launch probe after Raul Mizza used his phone. We spoke about that already. Farage claims Musk was trying to encourage with sacking cool. What's this? The former leader also claims his party is still cool to young people in the wake of the fallout with tech billionaire, Tesla owner, and first buddy of US President Donald Trump. Okay, sure. Sure. You are still cool with the kids if you want to put that. Ministers say British steel owners tried to shut down blast furnaces. Post-Brexit EU youth mobility scheme on table under a different name. There's a growing optimism that a fresh proposal of youth mobility across the UK and EU will be accepted by the government. Man, I really hope so, but they keep pushing it back. They do keep pushing it back, though. I think Phil Morehouse says it's going to happen, but I don't know. I'm a bit sceptical, guys, about it. Areas in Birmingham pay more council tax, mostly, for example, have been prioritised for cleaning by the council. You get decent enough. If you get decent enough pay, it's better off for them. Thanks for that, Matt. Appreciate it. I heard Gove's title will be Lord of Snort a lot. Says Class Action. Yeah, I heard that story too. I don't know if you guys saw the picture on the community post I did a while back of Michael Gove. Check out the picture. Scroll down the community tabs. You'll see the picture. The nice there. British citizens are eligible to apply green card lottery. No. Just other extra news there. Yeah, we'll leave the Independent there. Right, let's have a quick look at. I'll leave. Come out there. Let's have a quick look at the Financial Times, guys. As you guys know, I can't open the Financial Times because they're paid, obviously paid, but we can have a look at the front page at least. Bangladesh issues arrest warrant for Tunisia Sadiq, we talked about already. Why the UK rush to save British steel and what happens next? Why? Well, because we need British steel. But obviously, we need it more than apparently other places in the UK, according to this government. UK suspends import tariffs to ease strain for British businesses. UK race to secure coal to keep British steel furnaces operating. Yeah, some people have argued that we should have opened a coal mine in Cumbria. I disagree. I still think it was wrong to try and do that. British Steel nationalisation is likely option, says Business Secretary. England's business A&E department grapples with soaring demands for elderly care. UK startup now considers switch to US as funding falls to post-pandemic low. UK drivers brace for luxury police car price hikes. Starmer's opportunity to ride the Trump roller coaster. That's an opinion piece. Share of domestic postgraduate researchers hits record low in England. Cuts to PhD funds to cause students' intake to shrink. Data shows. That's from the Financial Times there, you guys. Just some of the headlines there. Let's have a quick look at the Times. See what they're saying there. Wildfire warning. There's 112 so far, burning an area bigger than Liverpool. Weeks of warm weather and dry ventilation left over from what have put Britain on course for its worst year in wildfires on record. Yeah, that's not good at all. Car hit pedestrian, killing women and injuring two teenagers. My heart goes out to friends and family of that woman, and I hope the two teenagers make a recovery. On the Thames, for the most economous boat race in recent history, in UK's Indians' old restaurant could close a row. Army called in to tackle the Birmingham bin strikes. Trans people who self-identify as women face single-sex space ban. Oh, I'm not even going to go there today, guys. I'm not going there. What will happen if Reform wins your local council? Fuck all will get done, is the answer, guys. British Steel tries to reverse Chinese sabotage of Scunthorpe Furnace. Reform candidate calls for Chris Whitty to be strung up. Yeah, you should not run if that's your opinion. Labour caving in on AI copyright laws, said Getty Images chairman. Stop deplorable attacks on Gaza hospitals, says David Lammy. Why don't you criticize Israel a bit more? Can't do that, can you? That's from the Times. Running out of time, guys. Don't worry, I did say I will show Pingu before we go. Telegraph. Police fueled information vacuum that led to Southport riots. The Welsh villagers fighting their Miliband's pylons. Rayner calls in the army to tackle Birmingham bin strikes. Drivers face a hat-trick of hold-ups over Easter weekend. Netanyahu's son gang up on Macron over the recognition of the Palestinian state. Violent TikTok user bragged about removing alcohol tag to go on holiday. Here we go again. Telegraph attacking the SNP again. SNP under fire for giving ministers a 20,000k pay rise. I will let the good friend of ours, Dave McGuinness of the Two Davies, address any criticisms towards the SNP. I'm not going to comment on it. My son goes down to Leatherhead just outside London and he describes it to akin to a third world country, says Class Action. It is a different world here compared to outside. Corner shops face crisis over Starmer's crackdown on smoking. Rush across the line, decent Palm Sunday attack that killed 34. GPs under pressure to give children illegal trans drugs. Private schools cry wolf over VAT raid. We've seen that story already. Welsh pupils taught about diversity from Chris Packham's interview. Lib Dems are extremists who want to impose veganism, says Tories. Oh dear. Yes, some it's just funny, some of the headlines. Some of them could be just so full of crap. I think we're going to go 1 or 2 minutes over, so just bear with me quickly, guys. I just have a quick look at byline times quickly. They don't update their news until a bit later on, so all their stories are from Friday. Trump's persecution projection of tyranny escalates. The free speech debate has a lot to do with the race, but the media won't tell you that. Ministry of Justice slammed for work environment that was intimidating, hostile, degrading, and humiliating. Matt Hancock intervened to help Conservative donor pizza firm land lucrative contract with COVID PPE contract. There. Everyone hates Elon. Protesters invite London to smash up Teslas in protest stunt. Trump's persecution projection to tyranny escalates. The anti-democratic tyranny at the Office of Budget Responsibility. Rachel Reeves' unimaginable spring statement missed its moment. The false economics of Rachel Reeves' spring statement. Like I said, the news stories don't normally, byline comes out until a bit later on there, just for reference there, guys. So, guys, we've just hit we're literally on the hour mark. So, Pingu would like to say big thank you. Pingu would like to say thank you to those who have sent super chats and gifted memberships today. All the funds from that will go towards supporting Pingu, McDonald's Island, and the Penguins in their war against Donald Trump and his evil tariffs. Like I said, I will have a video for you guys later on tonight on the Snowflake Viewpoint of how they are preparing for war against how McDonald's Island and the rest of the Penguins are preparing for war against them. So Pingu has been working with them there. So Pingu wanted to say thank you for those who have done so today. Much appreciated. But yes, it is 9 o'clock now, so I will be back at 8 p.m. tonight, guys. So do join me for the Snowflake Viewpoint. We'll be covering a bit more in depth on the news there. If you can't make tonight, I will be back again tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. So do join me for that. I'll be covering more related to world news from 8 a.m. So if you guys want to join me for that, please feel free to do so as well. If you can't join, so totally cool. Appreciate everybody popping by. That's all. And thank you guys for all your comments. Greatly appreciate. Politics Socials Morning Brew is starting now. 10:30, there'll be Dave McGuinness with the paper review. At 4 p.m. today, him and the two Davies will have their show at 4 p.m. And then I'll be back at 8 p.m. tonight. So thank you guys all for coming along. Thank you guys for all your comments. Have a wonderful day, whatever you're doing. And I hope to catch you all very, very soon. And make sure you hit that like, share, subscribe on your way out, guys. Take care, everyone.